Well, Taiwan is strongly condemning China for carrying out military exercises and launching missiles in the waters around the island. China's drills came in retaliation to the US House Speaker Nancy Pelosi's visit earlier this week.
China warned of consequences, and they were true to their word, launching 3 days of military drills as close as 10 miles from the Taiwanese coast, involving 100 fighter jets, bombers and other warplanes. Practice, some say, for a future seizing of the island.
Before Pelosi's visit to Taiwan, they pretended to be deaf and silent, but now they've criticised China's actions, exposing their hypocrisy and ugliness. Taiwan is an integral part of China's territory. The training activities carried out by the army near China's Taiwan island are necessary and legitimate measures to safeguard national sovereignty.
Nancy Pelosi is continuing her tour of the region, visiting South Korea and now Japan, whose government says 5 Chinese missiles have landed within its territorial waters for the first time. In nearby Cambodia, the US Secretary of State has called for calm.
Nothing has changed about our position. And I hope very much that Beijing will not manufacture a crisis or seek a pretext to increase its aggressive military activity. We in countries around the world believe that escalation serves no one and could have unintended consequences that serve no one's interests.
The military drills are taking place within 6 areas, including close to Taiwanese military bases China may want to attack in the event of an invasion. Taiwan has said a number of Navy ships and military aircraft have crossed the median line or dividing point of the Taiwan Strait, while China claims they've successfully hit 3 areas. And videos have been posted to Chinese social media filmed on Pingtan Island, showing a missile launch towards the Taiwan Strait. China's military commanders say their long-range live-fire drill has been completed successfully and bolstered their confidence to win the battle. Nancy Pelosi arrived in Taiwan to cheers, but she has left it facing an unprecedented escalation from its nearest neighbour. The island's government says it is not seeking war, but is preparing for it.
Joining me live now is the Shadow Foreign Minister Simon Birmingham. Simon Birmingham, thank you for your time. Was this an unnecessary provocation from Nancy Pelosi?
Good morning, LJ. Well, this was a routine congressional delegation visit to Taiwan. These delegation visits happen all of the time. Each and every year there are different delegation visits that occur. Yes, this one included the Speaker of the House as part of that delegation visit, but the type of military activities we're seeing in response to it is a disproportionate reaction to the visit that was undertaken. We shouldn't be seeing live firing of ballistic missiles, the build-up of military assets, all of which risk military misadventure, all of which risk forms of miscalculation and could risk serious escalation. And so that's why we're very clear in calling for there to be a step back, a de-escalation by China in terms of its reaction here, and we urge the government to make sure they're doing likewise in their communications with China.
Overreaction perhaps, but also kind of entirely predictable, wouldn't you agree?
Laura, it shouldn't be that way. We should be expecting that people react in ways that are proportionate to circumstances. As I said before, a congressional, or in our terms, parliamentary delegation visiting is not an unusual thing. Now, there are ways and means that messages can be dispatched, and I note that the United States administration has been very clear in continuing to reinforce to China, as indeed with Australia as well, that nothing has changed in relation to the support for the One China policy, but also very clear in the stance that there should be no unilateral changes to the status quo in relation to Taiwan, and particularly none that are achieved by force.
During the election campaign, your side of politics was warning how weak Labor would be on China, with particular interest, let's say, in Richard Marles. All those predictions, would you agree, haven't quite come true? Labor has actually held up Would you agree?
Look, at this stage, I acknowledge that the new government, in terms of its foreign engagements, have done the right thing in reaching out around the world. They've been active in their participation in NATO and the Pacific Islands Forum, in Quad meetings, as they should, as we would have been had the election result been different. And I welcome that. I acknowledge that right now Foreign Minister Penny Wong is with the ASEAN foreign ministers in Phnom Penh in Cambodia. These are important discussions to be having in terms of the centrality of ASEAN to our region, and particularly the role of ASEAN and their work in relation to the South China Sea, where we have seen real tensions, and we encourage her work and ASEAN in their work in terms of ensuring that we do see respect for the rule of law in our region, including the international law of the sea.